Finally, some good news on the firefighting front. The Royal Fire here in Northern California, just 30 miles to the east of the Blanco Lirio Global World Headquarters. Looks like things are kind of under control at the moment. Let's check it out. The Royal Fire started quickly on Sunday, the 7th of July, and we covered it in a live stream here on the Blanco Lirio channel, and it quickly grew to 50 acres. It was pretty late in the evening. But today, it looks like fire crews have been able to hold it. Well, as of yesterday, fire crews have been able to hold it at about 200 acres, primarily through the use of aerial retardant. Here's a current view of the Royal Fire looking from a distance up canyon about 8 o'clock this morning. So still active fire burning within inside the lines of the retardant lines. And here's a current view from the Mount Lincoln alert wildfire camera looking to the west, with the fire still actively burning within the retardant lines on the north and east facing slope on the North Fork of the American River. But now we have some excellent pictures taken from Air Attack 230 on day one of the fire, and this is the kind of aerial firefighting effort that keeps this fire a one-day event. You can see the retardant lines working down along the ridge. So as we had the update rolling on the day of the fire, we knew they were working along this ridge line. Now you can see exactly what they were doing with the retardant along this ridge line. And now they've got a bulldozer line backing up this retardant line. Again, the whole idea of the aerial retardant is to slow the spread of the fire until they can get a proper hand-built or dozer-built containment line wrapped around it. Here's another view as they come around to the right, and it looks like they've got retardant on both flanks of the fire. So this would be the heel of the fire down here, probably close to the ignition source of the fire. Maybe this fire is back down the canyon a little bit. This would be the right flank of the fire. This would be the left flank of the fire, and the head of the fire is up here on the ridge. And that's the easiest place to fight the fire, is on this ridge. But through their valiant firefighting efforts, they got retardant all the way down this canyon. And we're talking 3,000 foot elevation difference from the North Fork of the American River way down here up to this higher terrain surrounding this fire. But it's a wide enough canyon down in here, and the winds were light enough that allowed aerial assets to safely get down into that canyon. Here's a closer look at that retardant line working in conjunction with the dozer line. Now, of course, much of this terrain, you cannot get a dozer down in there. It's much too steep, so that's all going to be hard handwork by these hand crews. Here's an example of what a dozer looks like making a dozer line on a grass fire somewhere in the valley. Okay, here's some pictures taken from yesterday with the fire remaining within the retardant lines here. Great view showing the heel of the fire, the right flank, the left flank, and the head of the fire up here. The problem with this fire is that if these crews did not get a handle on this with the aerial assets the way that they did, a very heavy initial attack using heavy aircraft right away, this fire would pop up over this ridge and get into this timber and take off right towards Lake Tahoe, towards some very expensive real estate. Just 15 miles to Tahoe City, or Truckee, California, with all the major ski resorts located right in between. Here's the current stats on the CAL FIRE website. These are for all the fires so far this fire season in California. Here's the Royal Fire at just 200 acres. And the admin unit is now the National Forest, Tahoe National Forest. Now, this is key to understanding this change of command from CAL FIRE to the Forest Service. According to this Facebook post by CAL FIRE NEU, it was a joint command sort of operation on the initial attack, CAL FIRE with the Forest Service, and now it looks like the Forest Service has taken over, as of 7 o'clock last night, this entire fire operation. Without that strong initial attack by CAL FIRE that has the additional resources that the Forest Service does not, they were able to keep this small fire small at just 200 acres. Even though this is in the Tahoe National Forest, I'm afraid that if this had been a purely Forest Service response to this fire on the initial attack, they would have not have been able to get it corralled so quickly with so much retardant, and this fire would have escaped, and it would have become a much larger managed fire by the U.S. Forest Service, burning hundreds, potentially, if not thousands of acres. This is the importance of keeping small fires small and using the joint efforts of both CAL FIRE and the Forest Service together to keep these small fires small. And it no doubt took some incredible maneuvering by our smaller S2T air tankers that can dive down along these ridges down into the canyon and make these sort of retardant drops down this low into the canyon and still have a safe place to escape down canyon. The larger air tankers are able to safely manage the fire up here at the top of the ridge, but that's why you've got different tools in the toolbox to make this sort of attack a successful attack. And again, it's all in support of the boots on the ground, the hardworking guys on the ground that are constantly rotating out to avoid dehydration, to cut that hand line around this fire and just keep it to this 200-acre footprint. Real quick, the question came up, how late into the day can the air tankers operate? Here's right out of the manual. Unsupervised, the tankers got to cut off at sunset, but supervised, meaning if there's an air attack officer, that OV-10 flying overhead, they can go into civil twilight or 30 minutes after sunset. Here's another view of the fire when it just got going. This is Air Attack 17, the Aero Commander. The source of the fire is still unknown. The rumors are an escaped campfire. There's no power lines in this area. There were a bunch of kids camping in the area, and they were located and found and gotten out of the area. They were gotten out of harm's way. Gotten? Is that, Jenny, is that correct? No? So thanks so much, CAL FIRE, for helping to keep small fires small and spreading the gospel over to the U.S. Forest Service here in our local area. Here, young summer intern got a tour of Air Attack 230, our OV-10 here at the Grass Valley Air Attack Base. And just check out how great the visibility is. This is the pilot works up here, and the air attack officer works back here in the back seat managing all the radios. But this OV-10 was specifically built for this observation mission. Thank you so much for your support of this channel, especially the folks over on Patreon that make this content possible. See you here. Stay tuned for any live updates as these fires pop on right here on the Blanco Lirio channel.